friends, happy Friday. For today's Wellish Confessions, I thought I would just sit here and yap, to be completely honest with you. I feel that I am constantly trying to optimize all of the time, and obviously for good reason. Like, I'm trying to create quality content for my pals out there. However, you know, I feel like it would be good practice just to have a cute little chat, see where the conversation takes us. And if we're doing weekly confessions, like I'll just confess to you what the hell's going on in my mind this week. And here's my motivation too is I was with my friend these last couple days, and I always look at her life and just think like, you just are living good. You've got your friend group, you've got your good purposeful job, you've got your nice relationship, your house, it's cute, your style's cute, She just like has it together in a very normal way, like not in like a social media aesthetic, like she's living the like perfect performative life. It's very wholesome. And then this is where my inspiration for just yapping to you guys comes from, is she talks to me about things that she's struggling with, and we always just are like her brain works so similarly to mine, and it's very validating because it just feels like, oh my god, I'm not crazy, like, oh my god, there's someone else that feels this way. And I mean, like, when she talks, it is just the exact same things that I experience with, being afraid of rejection from other people, or being afraid of people's opinions in a sense of wanting to make sure you're doing the right thing so people like you, or having this immense amount of empathy but not having any empathy for yourself. And when she talks, and when this person whose life I really like says things about her mind working similarly to me, it just makes me feel better. Now, as I'm saying this out loud, it kind of sounds like misery loves company. Like, I'm happy that she also experiences the not so great thoughts that I do, because that validates that she doesn't have this wonderful life that I'm romanticizing, fantasizing, making, better than maybe it really is in my head, and like comparing her to my own life. But that's not it. Like, it just feels good to know that two things can be true. That somebody can have a life that is likable and enviable, and also experience those same thoughts and feelings that I do. So I thought it would be helpful just to yap about the confession vibe, like what we are worried about. Hello, that's just me. What I'm worried about this week, what I've been experiencing, and maybe some of you will relate to it, and it can just be a fun, easy, chill hangout. Because here's the thing too, is I was just watching a YouTube video. It was Tam Kaur, I think is how you say her last name. Kaur, Kaur. I really, really enjoy her. I think that she's got some really valuable content, and I like listening to her a lot. If you haven't checked her out, I highly recommend her. She's really cool. But sometimes I just get in these moods that I cannot intake the self improvement information. I just am like tired. And so I got onto YouTube to post some shorts, and her video popped up on whatever the equivalent to YouTube's For You page is. And it was like how to reset your life, or like become the version of you want to be by summer, 1 month, 30 days. Like, and I don't know why that stuff just pulls my ass in. Like, it always works on me, that like I always listen and think like, what things do they have to offer? And I'm wording that a lot more chill than it is what's going on in my head. Like, when I see that, I'm like, I want to change who I am, so I'm going to click on the video and I'm going to write everything down and implement it and change my life. And even though I consciously am aware that that's not the vibe, I still find myself feeling that way when I see those videos, and then I click on them. And I was watching her video. I watched maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes of it, and I just was feeling exhausted watching it. Like, instead of the video making me feel lighter and more empowered, I felt myself feeling groggy and tired and dragged down. So I just exited out of the video and decided that it wasn't for me. Using discernment, I wasn't meant to hear that message. And, I can just move on with my life and sit down and talk to you guys instead, because this does fill me up and make me feel empowered. Even though today, I'll be honest, like, I really wasn't feeling like doing this. I felt like watching Love Island and eating Ben and Jerry's, but you know, discipline. I just got to make sure I am doing the things that I told myself that I was going to do, and this is one of them. So, and as soon as I sit down and start talking to you guys, I'm like so happy to be here. It's kind of like going to the gym. You just got to like get yourself there first, and then like you're good once you're there. I guess my point though, when telling you about Tam though, is just that I feel motivated too to just yap into the camera at you guys, because sometimes you want to be in this space of improvement and empowerment without being told what you could be doing better, because while the information is good, it automatically by default inevitably makes you feel like the things that you're doing now are bad. So I feel like the yappy environment of just talking about what I'm thinking and feeling is a little bit more taking the pressure off of you to feel like there's anything you're doing wrong in your life. And hopefully, you can just pinpoint those things naturally without judgment yourself and develop your own thought process of how to handle the things in your life just through sitting down and hanging out with each other. I want to start by telling you guys about the crash out that I had last weekend. I was with some friends and I haven't seen them in a while, and I met up with them with my boyfriend. Now, a relationship update for you: I've been dating my boyfriend for about 4 months. We have not said I love you, and I'm cool with that. Your girl's got a lot of things to work through, and I'm trying to learn how to genuinely feel the feeling of love, because I feel like all the relationships I've been in, not all, I'm sorry, the last two like adult relationships that I've been in, so not my high school boyfriend, but like after that, like real adult relationships, I feel that I was love bombed and that I never got the opportunity to develop the feeling of love. And so I feel like I am now getting the opportunity to try to understand what that feeling is, and not just saying it because it's fun or because of the dopamine of a new relationship or because it's the next step in our relationship or because I want the reassurance that our relationship is progressing, but genuinely because we feel that way about each other. So, like, again, cool where we're at, but I had a lot of trauma again from old relationships. And so I was with these friends and with my boyfriend, and they had brought up the topic of saying I love you to each other. And I don't know why, but it sent me into a little bit of a spiral. And if my friends are listening that brought it up, for the love of God, this has nothing to do with you. You didn't do anything wrong. I know you guys are just silly, goofy, and fun. It's me, and it's my feelings of, inadequacy and the damage that was done to me. And I think that, like, I mean, I was told that I was hard to love. And when that happened, I laughed because I just thought that was so ridiculous. And it's just interesting how things that happened a year and a half ago could creep in and affect me today and what I'm doing now. And so I think, and so like that, and suddenly I was like whipped back to the night that he left and he told me he didn't love me anymore, my ex. And I just, it had nothing to do with where I was at in my current relationship, and everything to do with throwing me back to a traumatic time in my life, and that is what upset me, and it felt hurtful. But I think that it was only because of my level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence, that I was able to separate those two things and not turn on my boyfriend and need the reassurance of how he feels about me to make me feel better. That I can fully separate the fact that like I am progressing at the pace that works for me and my current boyfriend. And I can separate the trauma from the love crumbling from me and my ex boyfriend, and how those two have nothing to do with each other, but because they are similar things happening, it immediately, like, one affects the trauma affects the healthy. And I think that, again, without the emotional intelligence and the self-awareness, I would really probably be losing my fucking mind. And I was sad, not losing my mind in a bad way. I was just sad. I was just crying. I just wanted to go home. It was just like more of like a depressive episode in a sense. And even though I felt really bad, I felt really good about the fact that I was able to separate those two events, because it helps me understand myself more and know what it is I need to heal from. That like that those things aren't true, and why am I being so easily triggered by that, and what can I do to help reassure myself and not need it from somebody else? And again, just fall back into this idea that I want to feel that way because we genuinely feel that way, compared to like all the other reasons that a lot of the time I think people just say it emptily. Empty? Say it with empty intentions, and like you don't realize that it's empty, but I think that is happening more often than we might realize. And so essentially, that crash out led me to a pretty groggy Monday, but I kept trying because that was a Sunday night. I kept trying to be mindful of that though. And like, I was definitely having more of a rest day the following day, but trying to use that intentionally and know that it was just going to be a slow day, but I wasn't going to stop doing what I wanted to do. I was going to do things for the podcast. I was going to post the content that I wanted to post. I was going to get all my work tasks done. I was drinking water. I was trying to eat at least 2 meals a day. I did just stay in bed and didn't change my clothes and didn't do any hygiene and just laid there for the most part. But, I was trying to follow through on what I said I was going to do because I was a little bit more aware of what was going on. So I thought that was really good. But then I did get into a touch of a car accident. It was fine, but I really had this like crash out during it because I felt like I can't win. Like, why? Like, I slipped into that victim mindset that I just felt like, I feel like I try so hard to create a good life for myself. And then this happens, and I'm frustrated because I just want to be able to have nice things. And, and I had just gotten my AC fixed, and I had just gotten my side mirror fixed that was broken. And now, now this is happening, and like my headlight's broken. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, I can't win. And so I just like kind of started spiraling a little bit about that. And I decided that the car accident could have been a lot worse than it really was. And I was so grateful. I genuinely feel like the universe like gave me a little bit of a wink in that moment. And it was sort of a wake up call to say like, hey, like this could have been a lot worse, but like this is going to be the last messy thing in your current life. And like obviously that's not true. Like there's still going to be messy things in my life all the time because that's just inevitable, but like I just I feel very much like I want to be more organized with my life. Like I do a lot of the things and I get them all done, but it always feels very chaotic. Like I feel very chaotic inside my own mind and inside my own life. And like sure, on paper things are good, but like I just feel like I'm not as consistent as I want to be with eating well and drinking water and, like hygienic things like showering all of the time. I was talking with my therapist about that, and like I discovered that I shower and take care of that kind of stuff because I don't want to be greasy, because I want to look good, because I want to smell good, because I want to be presentable in public. And none of those answers come back to because I want to take care of myself, because I love myself enough to want to care for me. And it was just interesting, that realization, that it never dawned on me that like I wasn't doing those things like for that purpose alone. And like I would love to, just feel good inside of my own life. Like not have these moments that I am working so hard towards my goals and then go into these like lulls and I'm not doing anything and then working so hard and then these lulls. Like it always feels like peaks and valleys when instead I would rather just be, like slowly progressing towards the things that I want to do. I want to feel proud of what I'm doing. I want to feel like I am doing things with intention and with purpose because I believe in myself to do these things. And I want to be less selfish in a sense. Like, I think that because I'm so wrapped up inside of my own mind and because I have self abandoned for so long, let me start with the first one. I'm so wrapped up in my own mind. I'm constantly worried about if I'm doing the right things, saying the right things, what people think about me, if I'm moving correctly, that I am not focused on the other people that I'm interacting with. Like that I am not out in the world seeking to understand and just to give love and put that out there. I am doing it in hopes to like receive it back or avoiding it if because of the fear of not receiving it back, when I would rather just be more unapologetic and like give love because I want to be the kind of person that does that. So, not being so like me focused and being more focused on the people in my life and the things that are happening in my life. And then the other piece of it was feeling like I've abandoned myself for so long that I went the opposite direction and I'm now trying to do everything for me, and there needs to be a balance between those two things. So I think I'm kind of trying to learn that balance. So after I come to this realization that I don't want to live this way anymore, that I don't want to be so easily triggered, that I don't want to have such a chaotic life inside of my own head, that I want to be more organized with what my life looks like and slowly progress towards becoming a person that I feel genuinely proud of, I started a manifestation journal, and I loved manifestation before, like right after I moved to Chicago, so like July of 25. And I was really into it and I really thought it worked. And I got into it because I noticed that there were areas in my life that like I was a real powerful manifester. Like I have spoken things out into the world and that is exactly what I have received. So I was like, okay, I think that I need to like be more on top of this and like be more like diligent about like actually like focusing on this, because manifestation is not a woo woo thing. It's that you are being specific about what you want and getting clear about it, and then eliminating the limiting beliefs that you have that are preventing you from getting it. And it's creating the space for you to be able to receive it. And so, I really enjoyed it when I did it, but I fell off of doing it. And then I think it was harder for me to get back on because I felt like even though I know it's not woo woo, I fall into that and think that like, I'm not going to spend my energy doing that. I'm going to spend my energy on taking action because like that's what we're fed constantly. And I was like, you know what? I got to stop trying to take action from where I want to be, and I have to start taking action from where I'm at today. And even though I intellectually know better, I'm not doing those things. Like, for example, I know that specific meals are good for me and that I should be making home cooked meals, and like I could be planning and meal prepping and doing all of these things. And so I tell myself that I'm going to do that, and then I go balls to the wall and I get the groceries and I do it for like a week, and then I fall off. When instead, and then when I fall off, I just like don't eat, or I eat out, or I eat like shit, and I don't want to do that either. So it would be better to start where I'm at. and just get simple things. Like for breakfast, I can eat a cup of Greek yogurt and maybe some fruit. Or for lunch, I can just make myself a sandwich. Or for dinner, I can have some veggies, some microwave veggies, some microwave rice, maybe like, I don't know, a chicken patty. Who knows? Like just making sure that I'm making it as easy for myself as possible and then getting used to that and then progressing as I progress, as I get better at it, but not being so hard on myself for where I'm at today. So I took that same mentality and essentially went back to the manifestation journal that I was like, okay, I feel like I kind of got to like start at square one and get back to like identifying what it means for me to live a good life. And it's not a starting at square one. I want to clarify that. It's a realigning with where I'm at now. You know, like before I might have been in alignment, I might have had clarity and I worked towards that. And as I've took a bunch of new information and have perceived a bunch of new things that have happened in my life, because new things happen every day, every hour, every minute, and you're thinking and coming up with new ideas every day, every hour, every minute, that it's necessary to constantly realign. So I have to get clear again on what it is I want and bring that back into my direct line of vision. So I sat down with my manifestation journal and I did like come up with a shit ton of sections to put into it. I was watching YouTube videos on what to put in it. I was using the book The Secret by Rhonda Burns to put in it. And I really feel like at the end of the day, like it was too much. Like for me, it needs to be simple. And the things I did, all of the things, but the things that stuck with me the absolute most were first doing a deep dive of gratitude. Like instead of listing a couple things I'm grateful for, picking one thing I'm grateful for, and then being like really immersive about it and saying like why I'm grateful for it, how it inspires me, what it makes me feel, what it makes me think, and like kind of journaling about that, like writing all of that down, and then doing a future gratitude and doing the same immersive gratitude thing, just to again bring in that manifestation kind of a vibe that you're speaking in present tense and like you're setting a goal, but you are getting in the feeling of being on the wavelength with it. And then, so I think that really was good. And then the other thing that I think was good was the ask, believe, receive section that I created. So making sure to ask for it by saying, what do I want? And then going through the different sections in my life. So, like relationships, friendships, career, finances, lifestyle, health, personal growth, and identifying what things in each of those categories I want. And then once I have a clear, specific view of that, going into the belief section. And essentially, what the belief section is asking myself, if I am guaranteed this thing, how would I show up? What would I think? What would I feel? And that is where some real mind blowing shit happened, that I was made so much more aware of the way that I was not moving in alignment with the vibration that I would prefer to be at. So let me give you an example. I put in there, I want friendships that are unconditional love, sisterly, low maintenance, and easy. So if I knew I was guaranteed those friendships, how would I show up differently? Well, I'll goddamn tell you, I wouldn't be questioning if I was doing the right thing all the time. I wouldn't be worried that they don't like me. I wouldn't be anticipating all of the judgments that they could be making about me. I wouldn't be thinking about what they could be saying about me behind my back. I wouldn't be worried that they don't want to hang out or that they would reject me if I reached out to them to say that I want to hang out. Those are just a few examples of things that like I genuinely do think about that I absolutely wouldn't believe if I knew I was guaranteed that unconditional, sisterly, low maintenance, easygoing friendship. And when that happened, I was like, holy shit. So then we look at like relationships. What do I want from that? I want to deeply love and I want to be deeply loved. So if I was guaranteed that, how would I move different? I wouldn't be worried if I was making the right choice. I wouldn't be worried about if other people thought I was making the right choice in partner. I would be more focused on giving love more and not worrying about if they don't feel the same way or if they're gonna leave me or if I'm gonna make myself look stupid or if I'm going to be made a fool of or I'm gonna be taken advantage of. I'm not worried about all of those things. I would just be focused on being a good partner and expressing my feelings without feeling like I have to hold back because I know that I'm guaranteed feeling deep love and receiving it back. Isn't that crazy? I mean, another one was if I knew I was guaranteed to be a full time podcaster, journalist, and author, how would I show up different? I would just share my message with the world without fear of what other people would think. I would be more diligent about collecting that data so I can share it with the world. I would be more focused on the people that the data and my information was for instead of being worried about the opinions of the people it's not. If I knew it was guaranteed, I wouldn't constantly be worried if I'm on the right path. I would just follow the path that would get me to where I want to go. So the belief section for me was huge because all I am filled with is limiting beliefs. And I didn't realize that until I sat down to do that practice. And then the third part of this was the receiving part and being able to open yourself up to receive it by getting familiar with what it would feel like to receive it so that you can recognize it, so you can welcome it in and not be worried if it's actually happening or have imposter syndrome or be leaning more focusing more on what you don't want to happen than what you do want to happen. And for this part, it's about when that thing happens, what will you think? What will you feel? What will you prioritize? What will you let go of? And identifying all of those things again gives you more clarity on how you should move now in order to be in alignment with the version of you that already has that thing because you have to show up as that person before you are that person. The last piece I added to the manifestation journal that really, really, really stuck with me is future self journaling. That I sat down and wrote a day in my manifested life as if it was present tense. And it got me really excited. Like I really like longed for that life really badly when I did that. And I felt like I did it enough to make it real. Like I incorporated my cats into the story that I currently have right now. I incorporated one of my favorite blankets that I have right now into the story to make it seem more real. I also took elements of like my real life that would still continue if I had my manifested life. Like that at night, I would put cozy clothes on and cuddle up on the couch and I would watch reality TV and I would eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. That would come with me into my new life. So I included it in my new life. I was just in my very fancy high rise, big windows, big fancy cloud couch watching it on my giant TV. Here's the thing is getting on here and oversharing and talking to you guys about what I really think and feel does feel uncomfortable for me and it feels a little embarrassing, especially when people that are in my real life do watch this stuff because it just feels exposing and like I'm losing credibility and like I am telling you guys what's wrong with me and that doesn't help my good enough wound. Like that I'm telling you why I'm not good enough instead of painting this perfect image for why I am because I'm so afraid of not being good enough that I have to hide the truth that I'm not good enough. But the reality of it is these are the things that I think about and because of the negative things, I'm able to create such cool mindset shifts that I have such impactful realizations and perception changes because of the shitty things that come up inside of my mind. Now, would it be nice if I didn't think that way? And I do think that there are some neurotypical people out there that don't operate that way. And would that be great? Absolutely. But the truth is, that's just not how my brain works. Or it's at least not how my brain works right now. So I'm going to make the most of the negative feelings that do often come up for me and make them benefit me, that I want to create a better life for myself. So I'm going to take those negative feelings and use them as motivation to not live that way anymore, to specifically say, like, these are the things I don't like, these are the things I want, these are the limiting beliefs I have, and this is what it would feel like to actually receive the things that I want, and this is what I want my ideal day to look like. And I just feel really good about that. And I feel brave for being able to share it with you guys. And my biggest thing is not being fake. I mean, that has been my thing forever. That, like, I don't love the performance. I don't love people that want to pretend like they know it all, or like they have it all, or like nothing is, going wrong for them. I don't think that helps anybody. I think it's more helpful to be honest about the not so wonderful thoughts and feelings that I think more of us experience than we're willing to admit. Like, maybe mine are worse than other people's. Maybe my experience and me being hard on myself is more than some other people's, but maybe it's not as much. And maybe it will help somebody feel not alone, or maybe it will give people insight on how to not be so hard on themselves. Or maybe they'll listen to me talk about this and they'll say, whoa, she's mentally ill. Thank God I'm not like that. And that's nice for you too. I'm happy to provide whatever validation, reassurance, or empowerment that you can take from this. It felt really good to just talk to you guys. I hope that it benefited you in some way. Let me know if you liked this, if you want more videos like this, or if you prefer the more optimized versions. Obviously, we do both. Fridays is where the chaotic mind lives, that goes into creating all of my advice episodes that come out every Monday. So we've got the optimization there, but I love the casual, relaxed confessions vibe that we've got going on Fridays. If anything in this episode did resonate with you, I would really appreciate it if you rated and reviewed the show, or gave it a thumbs up here on YouTube, just to let me know what you resonate with and what you like. And because it really does help bring in more listeners like you and I that do need to live a little bit more wellishly. So it really does help others to do it that way. And it's such a simple way to help other people. If you haven't already as well, you're going to want to subscribe if you're a person that loves self-improvement but just doesn't love the perfection that so much of it brings on. Absolutely make sure to do that as well. Thank you so much for being here. If you made it to the end of this video, we're officially BFFs. We'll do karate in the garage together. I love that for us. Thank you so much. Can you tell I just watched Step Brothers for the first time? I love you. I think you are incredible. And I hope you have a safe, aligned, feel good weekend. And I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.